Happy Woodshed Wednesday. I'm back once again. And this morning I took off. I was going to take you all on a fatwood hunt this morning, and that turned out to be quite an ordeal. A bigger trip than I had planned on. But I did come back with some nice little goodies in my pack here. And it sure smells good. I can smell this coming out of here, even though it's all bagged up. I've got about 20 pounds of good pine fatwood today, which I'm going to split down a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a nice dry pine fatwood there. So I did. I left this morning, took a little ride up the road there to go into one of my favorite fatwood hunting areas, and I found out there was a huge pine tree over the road. Holy cow! Ho, 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 ho. Woo! That's the end of the road, boys. So I parked the car and ended up hiking in there. It's a couple miles to get down into this old ranch that I went into. Anyway, to make a long story short, I ended up hiking in there quite a ways. Came back with a ton of really cool video footage to show you. It's not going to be ready for Woodshed Wednesday, but I'll try to get it posted up by tomorrow. I'm going to call it the Bushcraft Fatwood Expedition. There's lots of good stuff. So I'll see you on that tomorrow. But today, I got some really nice pine fatwood, and I like to cut it in small pieces like this. We use it every day to start our fires in our wood stoves. We heat our house with wood, of course, and this makes the best fire starter. Even smells the house up nice when you bring it in. I like to cut this stuff up real small, and about that size there, 1/2-inch sticks. And nothing works like the old Gransfors wildlife hatchet. I love that angle where it comes off. You can just snag the tip of that fatwood. It just breaks it up in the nicest little pieces. I use about 3 of these to light a fire, and of course I get kindling too. Put on top. Yeah, that stuff's full of pitch. I like to find some old pine snags that might have come down in a forest fire, or logging areas where pine stumps are left exposed to the sun. And my theory is that stump is like a big wick, and it keeps wicking compounds out of the ground, out of the root system, toward the top. As it evaporates off the top of the stump, it brings this resin up with it in the form of hydrosols, is my theory. And as the water evaporates, of course, it leaves the resin in the core of the stump. And I find more fatwood on south-facing slopes that are really hot. Yep, I am tired. I probably hiked about 5 miles, forded a creek. I could have got some fatwood closer to home, but I do enjoy hiking and getting out, spending a little woods time. And I like to get my fatwood in small quantities because if you get it all in one shot, you don't get to take as many trips out into the woods. I met this old retired guy. His name was John David, and he had a small little truck. He would take it up wood cutting, come back with, maybe 20 pieces of wood, rounds of wood about that big. He had a small chainsaw. He'd come back into town grinning from ear to ear. And I said, John, how come when you go wood cutting, you only come back with a little bit of wood in your pickup truck? So John David looks at me a little bit funny, and he says, Kevin, if I cut my wood a little bit at a time, that means I get to go out in the woods more often and enjoy God's country. And I really thought that was a good perspective. Guy doesn't really have to work that hard, and he gets to enjoy it more. Probably spends a lot less time in front of the TV that way. So you might say that I subscribe to John David's theory of getting out more often and just doing your work a little bit at a time and not getting too excited about it and just enjoying it. I think John David made a pretty good impression on me. Rest in peace. Yeah, good old John David. He's passed away now, but he made a really good impression on folks before he left. Think about him almost every time I go out and get some firewood. Today I tried to use a sawzall, a pocket sawzall, to cut this stuff. I don't like to use my bushcraft saw because it really buggers up the blades. So I brought a pocket sawzall, and I'm going to include that in a video when I get the rest of the trip ready to go. But that pocket sawzall was working pretty good, but it didn't take long for the teeth get real plugged up with this resin. And I've used it before, and it worked pretty good, but I think this particular pine snag had a little more gummy resin in it, and it might have been a little warmer outside, and it really gummed it up. So I just used my Scandinavian forest axe to chop chunks of fat wood. Then we have a little pail where we put this stuff in, bring it in the house. So we have a little bit sitting next to the wood stove in the cabin. Stuff smells really good. Oh, look at there. I got that all rendered down. And that is quite a pile. Once you bust it up, you got a lot of little sticks there. And that'll really come in handy. This time of year especially, we're building a lot of fires and we're not keeping night fires. So we end up building maybe 2 fires a day just to kind of keep a chill out the house. Build one in the morning, then maybe another one in the evening. But we're not letting the wood stove go all night anymore because the days are warming up and we just don't need the heat. Well, that about wraps it up for Woodshed Wednesday. Remember now, what goes on in the woodshed stays in the woodshed. Be sure to tune in. I'll try to have that full expedition video posted by tomorrow. And be sure to tune in on that. There was downed trees, raging rivers, abandoned ranch, all kinds of fun stuff. It was quite an adventure, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I sure do appreciate y'all stopping by the West Fork Woodsman channel. I want to send out all my best wishes to you for peace and happy trails. Until next time, this is over and out from the West Fork Woodsman.